The haunting. As I sat in the dimly lit lawyer's office, surrounded by somber faces, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. My grandmother, a woman of mystery and secrets, had passed away, leaving behind an inheritance none of us could have anticipated. The lawyer cleared his throat, drawing our attention to the last will. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a descent into darkness. To our shock, my grandmother left each of her grandchildren a key to an old mansion on the outskirts of town. The lawyer explained that the mansion had been abandoned for decades and rumored to be haunted. Despite our apprehension, curiosity got the better of us, and we embarked on a journey to claim our inheritance. The mansion loomed before us, shrouded in mist and shadows. As we stepped through the creaking gates, a chill ran down my spine. The air was heavy with the scent of decay, and the silence was deafening. Yet, something seemed to beckon us inside, urging us to uncover its secrets. From the moment we set foot inside the mansion, we felt a presence watching us, lurking in the shadows. Strange noises echoed through the halls at night, and objects moved of their own accord. I tried to dismiss it as my imagination, but deep down, I knew something sinister was at play. While exploring the attic, I stumbled upon an old diary belonging to my grandmother. As I flipped through its pages, I discovered tales of dark rituals and forbidden knowledge. My grandmother had dabbled in the occult, summoning spirits in search of power. Could her actions have unleashed something malevolent upon the mansion? Every night, I was plagued by nightmares of a shadowy figure stalking me through the halls. I heard whispers in the dark, calling my name and promising unimaginable horrors. I tried to convince myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me, but the feeling of dread only grew stronger. Desperate for answers, we decided to conduct a séance in the hopes of communicating with the spirits haunting the mansion. As we sat in a circle, hands clasped tightly, the atmosphere grew thick with tension. Suddenly, the planchette on the Ouija board began to move, spelling out cryptic messages from beyond the grave. During the séance, we unwittingly summoned a malevolent entity hell-bent on tormenting us. Strange occurrences escalated into violent poltergeist activity, and we found ourselves trapped in a waking nightmare. It became clear that we were no longer alone in the mansion, and whatever dwelled within had no intention of letting us leave. Through further research, we uncovered the truth behind the mansion's dark history. It was built atop an ancient burial ground, cursed by vengeful spirits seeking retribution. My grandmother's meddling had awakened the curse, unleashing a force beyond our comprehension. We were trapped in a battle between the living and the dead, with no hope of escape. As the entity grew stronger, it demanded a sacrifice to appease its insatiable hunger. One by one, my family members began to vanish, consumed by the darkness that lurked within the mansion. Desperate to break the curse, I delved deeper into the occult, searching for a way to banish the entity once and for all. Armed with ancient incantations and forbidden knowledge, I confronted the entity in a showdown. The mansion shook with the force of our battle, walls crumbling and shadows swirling around us. With every incantation uttered, I felt the darkness clawing at my soul, threatening to consume me whole. In a moment of clarity, I realized that the only way to defeat the entity was to sacrifice myself. With a heavy heart, I offered myself up as a vessel to contain the darkness, sealing it away for eternity. As the mansion collapsed around me, I felt a sense of peace wash over me, knowing that my family was safe from harm. In the aftermath of the battle, the curse was lifted, and the mansion lay in ruins. My family mourned the loss of their loved ones but found solace in knowing that they had been freed from the entity's grasp. As for me, I would forever be bound to the mansion, a guardian of its dark secrets. Though the mansion now stood empty and abandoned once more, its legacy lived on in the whispers of the townsfolk. Some say that on a quiet night, you can still hear the echoes of our final battle, a reminder of the horrors that lurk within its walls. But for now, the mansion remains silent, its secrets buried deep within its haunted halls. With the curse lifted and the entity banished, my family found closure in knowing that their ordeal was finally over. We held a memorial service for those we had lost, honoring their memory and the sacrifices they had made to protect us. Though the scars of our ordeal would never fully heal, we emerged stronger than before, ready to face whatever darkness the world had to offer. In the months that followed, my family began to rebuild their lives, putting the nightmare of the mansion behind them. We moved away from the town, seeking a fresh start far from the memories that haunted us. But no matter where we went, the legacy of the mansion would always follow us, a reminder of the horrors we had faced and the strength we had found in each other. As time passed, the mansion faded into legend, its story passed down through generations as a cautionary tale of the dangers of meddling with the supernatural. Though we had lost much in our battle against the darkness, we had also gained something invaluable, a newfound appreciation for life and the bonds that held us together. Despite the passage of time, I could never forget the events that had unfolded within the mansion's walls. In quiet moments, I would find myself lost in memories of those we had lost and the sacrifices that had been made. But amidst the pain and sorrow, there was also hope, reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is light to be found. Though the mansion may have fallen into ruin, its legacy lived on in the hearts of those who had been touched by its darkness. We vowed to never forget the sacrifices that had been made or the lessons we had learned, carrying the memory of our ordeal with us wherever we went. For as long as we lived, the mansion would remain a part of us, a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of unspeakable evil. As I sit here, penning the final chapter of our story, I am reminded of the words my grandmother once spoke: "In the darkness, there is always light, if only you know where to look." Though our journey may have been fraught with peril and despair, it was also illuminated by moments of courage, love, and sacrifice. And as the sun sets on our final chapter, I find comfort in knowing that no matter how dark the night may seem, there will always be a glimmer of hope to guide us home. The inheritance. Seated within the dimly illuminated lawyer's office, encircled by distant relatives, a palpable sense of unease settled over me. The recent passing of my grandmother had cast a shadow over our family, and as we convened to hear her final will, the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. When the lawyer eventually commenced reading her bequests, we were left dumbfounded by a peculiar inheritance each of us received. For me, it was an ancient key, its surface weathered by time and adorned with enigmatic symbols. A surge of curiosity compelled me to scrutinize the key closely. What secrets did it conceal? And why had my grandmother singled me out for this curious artifact? Little did I realize, this key held the power to unlock a sinister revelation. Following the directives outlined in her will, I found myself standing before a dilapidated mansion on the outskirts of town, my grandmother's former residence, a place I hadn't visited since childhood. Now, it loomed ominously before me, exuding an aura of malevolence. Stepping over the threshold, a chill crept down my spine, and an unsettling foreboding thickened the air. Shadows danced in the corners, and whispers echoed through the deserted corridors, sending shivers down my spine. Exploring the cobweb-laden rooms, I stumbled upon relics from the past, aged photographs and letters inscribed with familiar yet alien handwriting. It was as though the house itself sought to convey a message, though its meaning eluded me. In the dead of night, I was jolted awake by the sound of footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Heart pounding, I traced the source to the attic, where I encountered a spectral apparition, the ghostly visage of my grandmother, her eyes brimming with sorrow and longing. With each passing day, the paranormal phenomena within the house intensified. Objects moved of their own volition, eerie shadows flickered across the walls, and an omnipresent sensation of being watched haunted my every step. It seemed as though the house itself was cursed, and I was its unwitting victim. Tormented by visions of the past and besieged by restless spirits, I felt my grip on reality slipping. Sleep became a distant memory, and every creak of the floorboard sent me spiraling into panic. Was I descending into madness, or was there a malevolent force at play? Driven by desperation, I delved deeper into my grandmother's history, unearthing dark secrets concealed beneath layers of deception. It appeared she had become entangled in supernatural forces beyond her control, inadvertently unleashing a curse that had plagued our family for generations. In the depths of the house, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber adorned with arcane symbols and forbidden rituals. Here, my grandmother had forged a pact with dark entities in exchange for power and longevity, unwittingly unleashing a malevolent force that now threatened to consume us all. Armed with newfound knowledge, I confronted the malevolent entity lurking within the house, determined to end its reign of terror. But as darkness enveloped me, I realized the true battle had just begun. In a climactic showdown between light and darkness, I faced the ancient evil that had taken root within the house. With the aid of the key my grandmother had bestowed upon me, I unlocked the portal to the spirit realm and banished the entity back to its abyssal prison. As dawn broke on a new day, I emerged from the house battered but victorious. The curse had been lifted, and peace was restored to our family. My grandmother's bequest had not only tested my courage but offered redemption. With the chapter of my grandmother's legacy closed, I resolved to leave the house behind and embrace a fresh start. Though the memories would linger, it was time to leave the darkness of the past behind. In the years that followed, I reflected on the harrowing ordeal within those haunted walls. Though the house stood abandoned, its legacy served as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the perils that lurked in the shadows. As I laid the key to rest, returning it to the earth, I pondered the secrets that remained buried. For as long as the house stood, the eternal struggle between light and darkness would persist, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The shadows. As I stood among the somber crowd gathered in my grandmother's dimly lit parlor, the weight of her passing bore down on me like a heavy shroud. The lawyer's voice droned on as he began to read aloud my grandmother's last will. Little did I know that this reading would unravel a dark legacy of fear and despair. To my astonishment, my grandmother had left me her old mansion on the outskirts of town. The house had always been a source of mystery and fear for me, with its crumbling facade and overgrown gardens. Reluctantly, I accepted the inheritance, unaware of the horrors that awaited me within its walls. Upon entering the mansion, an icy chill enveloped me, sending shivers down my spine. Strange whispers seemed to echo through the empty halls, and shadows danced in the corners of my vision. I dismissed them as mere tricks of the mind, but deep down, I knew something sinister lurked within. As I explored the mansion, I stumbled upon old photographs and letters, hinting at a tragic history hidden beneath its surface. Stories of madness, suicide, and unexplained disappearances whispered through the ages, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and lingering dread. Nightfall descended, casting the mansion into darkness. That's when I first encountered them, shadowy figures that moved with unnatural grace, their eyes gleaming with malevolent intent. Terror seized my heart as I realized I was not alone in the house, and that whatever dwelled within meant me harm. Each night brought with it new terrors as the spirits of the past manifested themselves in increasingly terrifying ways. Doors slammed shut of their own accord, furniture moved as if possessed, and chilling whispers echoed through the halls, driving me to the brink of madness. Desperate for answers, I delved into the mansion's history, uncovering a dark secret that had been buried for generations. Long ago, a witch had cursed the land upon which the mansion stood, condemning all who dared to set foot within its walls to a fate worse than death. Armed with newfound knowledge, I resolved to confront the evil that lurked within the mansion. But as I ventured deeper into its depths, I realized that the curse was far more powerful than I had ever imagined and that my own life hung in the balance. In a desperate bid for survival, I sought to make peace with the restless spirits that haunted the mansion. Through ancient rituals and offerings, I pleaded for their mercy, hoping against hope that they would release me from their grasp. But the spirits demanded a price far greater than I could have ever imagined. In exchange for my freedom, they demanded a blood sacrifice, a soul to appease their insatiable hunger. Trapped between life and death, I had no choice but to comply. With time running out, I raced against the clock to find a way to break the curse once and for all. But the mansion seemed determined to claim me as its own, its twisted corridors shifting and changing to thwart my every move. At last, I came face to face with the source of the evil that had plagued the mansion for so long, a malevolent spirit hell-bent on revenge. With trembling hands, I prepared to make my stand, knowing that only one of us would emerge victorious. In the heat of battle, I realized that the only way to break the curse was to sacrifice myself. With a heavy heart, I offered up my own life in exchange for the salvation of those who had been ensnared by the mansion's dark magic. As I drew my final breath, a blinding light engulfed me, washing away the darkness and pain that had consumed me for so long. In that moment of transcendence, I knew that I had finally found peace, free from the shackles of the past. Though I may have passed into the realm of the beyond, my legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of those who dare to remember the horrors that befell the mansion on that fateful night. May my story serve as a warning to all who dare to tread where darkness reigns supreme. In the aftermath of my sacrifice, the mansion stood silent and empty once more, its halls haunted by the memories of those who had come before. Though the curse had been broken, its scars would linger for generations to come, a testament to the enduring power of the supernatural. But even in death, some refuse to be forgotten, restless spirits doomed to wander the earth for all eternity. Among them, I too shall roam, a ghostly guardian watching over the mansion and its secrets from beyond the grave. With the curse lifted, life slowly returned to normal for the townsfolk who had long feared the mansion's dark influence. But in the quiet moments of the night, whispers of the past still lingered, a reminder that some mysteries are best left undisturbed. As the years passed, the mansion faded into legend, and its true significance was lost to time. But for those who dared to listen, the echoes of its haunted history could still be heard, a cautionary tale of the dangers that lie hidden in the shadows. And so, the story of my grandmother's last will comes to a close, a tale of terror and redemption that will forever be etched into the annals of history. Though the darkness may fade, its memory will endure, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of unspeakable evil.